every answer it gives is unique. And so you need to be really careful about, what works for me may not work for you.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
I have been told, and rightfully so, that I spend way too damn much time on my minisodes. So I'm going to, I set a stopwatch for those of you on YouTube. You can see it going right. Where are we? See that? It's going. We're going to do this in less than 10 minutes, and I'm going to try to get in a better habit. By the way, I love criticism. I really do. I love it when people reach out and say, hey, I like this. I don't like this. It really helps us to improve the program. Want to pause to remind you that we're sponsored by Spark. Spark will help you to make more money because it increases the amount of time you have in the appraisal report and not spent on data entry. Spark4appraisers.com. You got to spell out the four, F-O-R, Spark4appraisers.com. All right, folks, I want to talk briefly. A couple of weeks ago in the Appraisal Buzz, I wrote an article on ChatGPT and specifically how it can be used in appraisal. And the reason I did that was I had been talking a lot about ChatGPT because it's on my mind. It's something I spend a lot of time on. And it's really easy to understand how ChatGPT can help with business development, right? I want to grow my appraisal practice. Here's what I do. Help me to be able to come up with some ideas on how to grow. That kind of thing putting into ChatGPT will allow you to be able to, grow your business. Marketing, writing blogs or formatting emails properly to the clients that you have out there. Everybody can see how ChatGPT can help on that side, but specifically, how will it help with the valuation process or the practice of appraisal? Well, that's a question that people had. And so over a period of a few days, I kept track of the ChatGPT prompts. Okay, a prompt, if you're not in ChatGPT, best way to describe it's like a Google search. Okay, so what do you put in the Google search to get the results that you want? A ChatGPT prompt is what would you put in there in order to get the result that you want in ChatGPT. And the question that I kept getting from my All-Star team and from others was, well, Dustin, how do you actually use this in the real world of appraisal? And so I kept track of the prompts that I had used over a couple of days, couple of weeks, and I maybe tweaked a few for confidentiality, but for the most part, they were exact prompts that I put into ChatGPT with positive results. And I put those in an article. The Appraisal Buzz was nice enough to promote that, to publish that. And I got a lot of feedback on that. I've already addressed that. If you're interested in that whole controversy, episode number 853 is where I went into the details and kind of, when you talk about criticism, some of it was very unfair. And I think that I addressed that pretty well. But today I want to share with you just, again, it's a mini-sode. We're going to keep it under 10 minutes. Stopwatch is still going. See, there it goes. There it goes. We're going to keep it under 10 minutes. And I want to share with you 3 or 4 of those prompts. For those of you who have not yet used it for appraisal practice, I think this will be helpful. Another thing that's going to be helpful is using technology to help you to speed up the process of appraisal without cutting quality. Folks, that is the mission statement, if you will, not actual mission statement, but that is the mission statement. That's the MO of Spark. Spark is the ability to be able to cut out this slow, cumbersome data entry without cutting out your ability as an appraiser to make the important decisions that you need to make. You choose the comps. You choose where the data comes from for the subject, right? All Spark does is allow you with one button to put that in your appraisal report. Spark4appraisers.com. Spark4appraisers.com. folks. Welcome back to the program. Dustin Harris hanging out with you in the podcast chair. For those of you who have joined us over the last several weeks on YouTube, you can now see what happens behind the scenes. You can see me flail my hands around as I talk. I don't know why I do that, but I do. I've always been one that talks with my hands, and you can see that on the YouTube. It's kind of fun to watch the behind the scenes. Don't do it if you are driving, please. But if you're at your desk and you're using ChatGPT to help you with your appraisal reports, it's kind of fun to have the Appraiser Coach podcast on YouTube. You can find us at the Appraiser Coach when you go to YouTube. Okay, let's get into it. I'm going to share with you a couple of prompts that I have used. These are actual prompts. Again, I changed a couple of things for confidentiality. And by the way, when it comes to ChatGPT, you have to sometimes tweak things, right? Every answer it gives is unique. And so you need to be really careful about, what works for me may not work for you, for example, or what works for me may have worked for the situation that I had, but you may have to tweak it, ask additional questions. A lot of times when ChatGPT comes back with an answer, I'll say, yeah, that's not quite what I was going for. You can really talk to it like a human, like I'm talking to you right now. That's not quite what I was going for. Can you give me, this aspect of that? And it will go in and at that point, give you the right answer, or at least closer to the right answer. You can have a kind of a discussion with it. Okay. Number one, this is an actual prompt that I used in ChatGPT. Ready? Quote, reword this addendum to a real estate appraisal report to make it more readable and synthesized. I basically took my static addendum, plugged it in, and had it reworded. I used some parts of it, didn't use other parts of it. By the way, which goes to a principle that I talked about in episode 853, and that is trust but verify, right? Do not necessarily trust everything that ChatGPT gives you. It doesn't come with references as to where it got it. You are 100% responsible for anything that you choose or not choose to put in your appraisal report. Number two, quote, help me to professionally explain why proximity to a railroad track might negatively affect the value of a property, unquote. Now, I know as an appraiser why that happens, but the reason I put that in is I had a situation where the subject was near a railroad track, right? And I needed to better explain it, better than Dustin Harris could explain it, help me to explain it, and it came out with some awesome ideas. Number three, describe the general neighborhood characteristics of 123 Main Street in Price, Utah. Again, the names have been changed to not incriminate the guilty, but try that. Get a general neighborhood characteristic. Again, I cannot emphasize this enough. Do not trust necessarily to copy and paste into your appraisal report. You're going to know that neighborhood, but it might come up with some things that you wouldn't have thought of on your own. Number four, describe for the reader of the appraisal report why price does not equal value. Now, again, we appraisers all know why price does not equal value, but it's interesting to find out what ChatGPT comes up with. And sometimes the professional language that it comes up with is far better than we as human beings can think of off the top of our head. That's one of the great things about ChatGPT. Number five, and the final one that I'll give you today, is what are some ways to cure functional obsolescence in a home where one must go outside in order to walk up the stairs to the second level? Now, this was one that I was not sure what I would get back. And I was pleasantly surprised that I got back a very, very good answer. In fact, answers, plural, multiple ways that you can cure functional obsolescence. Now, as an appraiser, I decided what I put in my report, but it was very, very helpful to me. Hope this has been helpful to you as well. Thank you for joining me. If you want to learn more about ChatGPT and how to utilize it in appraisal work, whether it be marketing, business development, or the practice of appraisal, I invite you to join our all-star team. We can be found at theappraisercoach.com/memberships. Go create some value.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.